Welcome to the deep dive. Imagine pre-ordering the latest smartphone, only to find out like its release is delayed indefinitely because of a legal battle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the situation we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're exploring this tech feud that's way more than just microchips.
Right.
It involves Arm, Qualcomm, and a whole lot of legal drama.
You're right. It's a fascinating case study, actually. It could have ripple effects on like what tech you're holding in your hand, in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack all of that for you today.
Okay, so the headlines are focused on Arm, a UK-based chip design powerhouse, and their move to, get this,
Okay.
cancel a major license agreement with Qualcomm,
Wow.
the company behind those Snapdragon chips. You find those in a lot of devices, from smartphones to those new AI-powered laptops.
Exactly. And to understand like why this is such a big deal, we need to look at what an architectural license agreement is and why it matters so much in this case.
Let's unpack that. What is this agreement? Why should we care?
Okay, so in the simplest terms, this agreement, it lets Qualcomm use Arm's technology as a blueprint for their own chips. Think of it like having the secret recipe, but for processors.
Okay.
And this matters because Qualcomm Snapdragon chips, the ones built using Arm's architecture, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Your phone, that new laptop you've been eyeing,
Yeah.
there's a good chance they're powered by Qualcomm.
Okay, so we're not just talking about some tech industry inside baseball here. This could actually impact, like, millions of users.
Precisely. And the scale of this move by Arm is huge.
Yeah.
If Qualcomm loses the ability to use Arm's architectural license, they could be forced to stop selling a significant portion of their products.
Wow.
We're talking about a company that makes billions of dollars annually.
All right.
And this move could put up a major roadblock for them.
This is starting to sound like a clash of the titans.
Yeah.
Who are the key players in this chip drama, and what are their motivations?
Okay, so on one side you have Arm, led by CEO Rene Haas.
Mm.
They're the brains behind this essential technology, right?
Right.
And they're looking for more recognition and, let's be honest, money for their innovations.
That makes sense. Everyone wants their fair share, especially when you're talking about the building blocks of the digital world as we know it.
Right.
So who is the other heavyweight in this fight?
That would be Qualcomm, headed by CEO Cristiano Amon. They've built a chip empire using Arm's technology. But now they're trying to become less reliant on Arm to forge their own path.
Interesting.
So you have this interesting power struggle, a clash of ambitions playing out on a global scale.
It sounds like there's more to this than just a simple contract dispute. What was the tipping point? What pushed Arm to make such a drastic move?
Well, the root of this feud, at least from Arm's perspective, seems to be Qualcomm's 2021 acquisition of a company called Nuvia, a startup that specializes in chip design.
Okay.
Arm claims this purchase was a breach of their existing contract because Nuvia was also an Arm licensee.
So Qualcomm buys this company, Nuvia, to bolster their chip game, and Arm cries foul. What is it about Nuvia that's so important?
Well, Nuvia's technology is central to Qualcomm's next generation of chips. We're talking about their next big thing.
Wow.
These designs from Nuvia are reportedly more powerful and efficient, offering a level of performance that Qualcomm desperately wants to integrate into their products.
So this isn't just about smartphones anymore. We're talking about potentially every device that uses these types of chips.
Exactly.
Wow.
And to make things even more interesting, this directly impacts some major players like Microsoft, who are banking on these new Qualcomm chips for their latest devices.
Wow, this is getting serious. We're talking about potential industry-wide disruptions.
Yeah.
And to think it all boils down to a disagreement over a single acquisition.
It really highlights just how important intellectual property is in this industry. And it's not just about this one acquisition, right?
Okay.
This whole situation with Nuvia, it seems to have pushed Arm to kind of rethink its overall strategy.
Interesting.
They're now offering these more complete chip designs that companies can essentially take straight to the manufacturers.
Oh, wow.
It's like Arm is saying, hey, we can do this whole chip thing ourselves now.
That's fascinating. So they're not just the architects anymore. They're looking to become like the general contractors.
Right.
That's a bold move, and I have to imagine Qualcomm isn't thrilled about it.
You're right. It is bold.
Yeah.
It puts Arm in direct competition with companies like Qualcomm, who used to be their customers.
Wow.
It's like a furniture maker who previously only sold blueprints but now offers fully assembled pieces,
Right.
competing with their former customers.
So where does this leave Qualcomm? What are their options if Arm is successful in court?
Well, they're not backing down without a fight. Qualcomm is adamant that their acquisition of Nuvia doesn't violate their existing agreement with Arm.
Okay.
But let's say, for argument's sake, that Arm does win this thing. What could that mean for Qualcomm?
Yeah.
And, more importantly, for you?
That's what I want to know. What happens if they lose access to Arm's technology? Does this mean no more Snapdragon chips?
It's a real possibility.
Wow.
If Arm successfully cancels the architectural license, Qualcomm would essentially lose the right to design chips based on Arm's instruction set. Think of it like losing the foundation of a house you're building.
Talk about a plot twist.
Right.
So all that work Qualcomm poured into integrating Nuvia's technology,
Yeah.
all those plans for cutting-edge chips in our phones and laptops could be in jeopardy.
Exactly. They'd likely have to go back to the drawing board, potentially delaying product releases and scrambling to find alternative solutions.
Oh.
And this is where it could have a domino effect on you.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this chip war is about a lot more than just like corporate squabbling.
Right.
What kind of impact are we talking about here?
Imagine pre-ordering the latest smartphone, only to find out its release has been pushed back indefinitely due to this legal battle.
Oh, no.
Or that AI-powered laptop you've had your eye on suddenly becomes much more expensive because Qualcomm has had to find new, potentially more expensive ways to deliver on its promises.
That's a great point. It's easy to forget that these legal battles often, trickle down and impact us as consumers.
Yeah.
What are the chances they'll settle out of court?
It's hard to say for sure. There's a lot of money and even more pride on the line here.
Why, right?
But remember, both companies operate in a fast-paced industry where innovation is paramount. A protracted legal battle could hurt both sides in the long run.
It's a classic case of can't live with them, can't live without them, right?
Exactly.
They might be at each other's throats now, but they need each other to succeed in the long term.
Exactly. Qualcomm needs Arm's technology, or at least something comparable to it, to maintain its dominance in the chip market. And Arm, despite its ambitions to offer more complete solutions, still benefits from having a powerhouse like Qualcomm as a customer.
It's like this whole thing is a high-stakes game of chess, with both sides making these big power plays. What does the end game look like here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are a few possible outcomes.
Okay.
One, they could reach a settlement, potentially involving a hefty payment from Qualcomm to Arm for the use of Nuvia's technology. That would be the cleanest solution, allowing both companies to move forward without further disruption.
I can almost picture the negotiators now hammering out a deal over, a giant stack of cash.
Right.
But what if they can't agree? What happens if this goes all the way to court?
Well, that's the other possibility, right?
Yeah.
They go to trial, and a judge decides the fate of this agreement and essentially which company's vision for the future wins out. This route is much riskier for both sides.
So it's a total cliffhanger.
It is.
We're on the edge of our seats. What does the landscape look like after the dust settles, regardless of who comes out on top?
No matter what happens, this case highlights a truth you'll want to keep in mind. As technology evolves, the battles over who controls the intellectual property behind it are only going to get bigger.
Yeah, it really makes you think, what happens when the building blocks of our digital world, literally become points of contention like this?
It's fascinating, isn't it? This seemingly niche dispute could have a ripple effect on everything from, like you said, the price of your next smartphone to the very pace of AI development.
So there you have it, a deep dive into the complexities of chip wars and what they mean for the future of tech. It's amazing how something as small as a microchip can cause such a stir, right?
Absolutely. And it really underscores a crucial point for anyone who uses technology, which is all of us these days. The future of tech isn't just about lines of code. It's about the power dynamics and legal battles being waged behind the scenes.
It really makes you appreciate the complexity of the technology we interact with every single day. Thanks for guiding us through this. It's been an eye-opening deep dive.
My pleasure. It's always fun to explore these topics.
And thank you for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into a topic that's shaping our world. Until then, keep exploring.